Hello, guys. So this is footballing, and we're going to introduce the Mississippi Bandits. So we're playing Axis Football 21. Just came out. It's currently on Steam. I'm pretty sure it's going to be released on console eventually, but I'm not. I don't think they've announced it yet. So I am playing on Steam, or I got it on PC. So I'm going to take you to the creation suite, and you see I've already made it. That's the logo. We're the Mississippi Bandits. So the team creation is something that's new to this edition. So you see our colors are the black, the purple, and the silver. These are some of the other logos that you can use in the game. So I'll show you the uniforms. So that's our home uniform, and this is our away uniform. So there's different variations you can do and go into and kind of change the colors up and make it unique. So there's a lot of options in terms of creativity in this game. And I think creativity is a very important thing for this game. Obviously they don't have the NFL license that belongs to the other game. We all know what that is. And this is another cool thing. So this is the play selection. So for this franchise, what I'm going to be doing is playing as the owner. So what you can do is you go through each situation, first down, second down, depending on down and distance, and then you can kind of pick what you want your team to do. So I kind of want our team to be a run first team, a good defensive team. So I'm going to go through and pick different plays, and I don't want us to be doing a deep pass on first down. I want us to be usually running the ball or doing some kind of play action. So you can go through and set all that up, and I think that's really useful, especially if you don't plan on playing it yourself. You just want to be either watch through coach mode and pick your plays, or you want to spectate, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play as the owner, so I'm going to spectate all my games. So yeah, you can go through each situation and really make it, if you want to go super pass heavy, you can do that. So I think that's something that this game does have. I think it takes imagination to get the most out of this game. It does have its shortcomings, but I think it's a nice sandbox experience, so you can really do whatever to your liking and customize, and really I think as it goes on, you'll get more and more attached to your players and the kind of football universe that you have going on, that you've created. And the fact that they've added the NFL style has really helped that. I think that was a good move for them. Even though I didn't mind the tier system from before, I think most people are going to prefer to play in that NFL style league setup. So I think that's really important. Okay guys, so now we're in the main franchise part. So I'm just gonna go through and guide you guys through the different things. So those are franchise records. So the Mississippi Bandits, obviously we haven't played a game yet. So as time goes on, this will get more populated with all the individual stats and our own stats, which I think will really start to make the game more immersive and kind of get you tied into it. So this is what the hub looks like. It's very similar to last year. So we're going to go into our facilities, and we only have $56 million available, so I'm not going to be spending any money right away on general sitting, luxury boxes, anything like that, or rehab, transportation. I do think you get little bonuses for this, like your players may recover faster and different things like that, but just with $56 million, we're not going to be able to do much. We're probably not even going to be able to sign or do a lot of moves, so we're definitely going to be taking a look at our players later. But right now, this is our staff. So if you see, a lot of our coaches already have big time deals remaining, 5 years, 6 years. That's our head coach, Troy Woods. He does have a cool badge there, champion, which increases players' desire to join the team. So that's another thing. I think you just gain badges randomly So the longer you have a coach, the more likely he is to gain a badge. I'm not sure what triggers it. So yeah, based on their contracts, I'm probably not going to cut anyone, but I do think I'm going to make a change at head coach. He is a B overall, but I just want, if you look, that defense is pretty bad at a D+, and I want a defensive-minded coach because I want to play good defense and run the ball mainly, so it's going to be important that I get a guy. So I'm going to hire a new coach, but you can promote a coach. So if I wanted to fire Troy Woods, I could just release him, and then it would be an option if I wanted to promote any of my coordinators or any of my position coaches. I could have made them, even my scouts, I could have made them the head coach. So that's another cool thing that you can do in this game. So I'm gonna isolate by defense there, so I can see who the best defensive coaches are. So I'm going to try to narrow it down here and try to make a decision based on who I feel is the best fit. And when I do this, though, I am going to have to pay the other coach. So this is not a good move financially, but it's just something I want to do to start off the franchise. So there's a lot of options here. It's kind of tough to make a decision, and I want to make a good decision because I don't want to waste money and be continually firing and rehiring head coaches. And none of these guys have badges, but I'm going to end up going with Pedro Ellis. You see, I try to lower his salary here, $2.5 million for a 3-year deal, but he won't take that, so I'm going to have to keep going up. Won't take that as well. Won't take that, so I end up having to pay him $3.5 million. I probably could have went less, but I wanted to make sure it worked. So you see there, I am going to end up with a net amount of $4 million. So hiring this coach and firing the other guy based on what he was owed, I end up losing $4 million. So that's obviously not a good move. If you're really strapped for cash, you probably don't want to do that. So right here is a practice screen. So you can go normal, high, or heavy, extreme, and light, and I think none. So I'm going to go heavy practice. So like I said, this is going to be this is the way I like to do it. I go ones across the board and then just kind of add based on certain things I want to focus on as a team. So like I said, this is going to be a rushing team first. I want them to tackle well. I want them to play good defense. So anything defense related, I'm going to put 2 points into. I'm going to put a little bit extra into film study. So I want smart players. I got 2 points left. I'm going to go with rushing. And then the last point I'm going to put into blocking. So yeah, that's those aspects of the team. And we're going to have to see the team in itself. So I got to find that. So there's the depth chart, player contracts. Okay, so as far as the team goes, Tyson Benson looks like our best player. He's only on a 1-year deal though, but he gets paid $10 million, so he's definitely probably going to be our starter. He's a B overall, and he's pretty young, so we're going to go with him. He's a good veteran quarterback, so we're going to let him lead the team. The running backs look okay. I'm probably going to want to draft a running back based on first glances here. But I definitely want a guy who has speed. Everyone's on a 1-year deal there, you see, except for Pinna. So these are our wide receivers. So like I said, we're not going to do like a crazy heavy pass team, but Noah Dean is probably the better one. These are our tight ends, so C, and then C+. 1-year deal, 1-year deal, 2-year deal. So seems like in the off season we are going to have to make a lot of decisions based on the amount of 1-year deals. So this is my O-line. So no one has actual positions, but if you go into the depth chart, you can actually put them. You'll see who will be the left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. In the depth chart, you'll get to kind of pick your player, but the players themselves, they're just O-linemen, and then you kind of put them wherever you see fit. Usually I put my best lineman on the tackle spot, and then I'll try to put my next best lineman in the center, and then the guards are the other guys. Those are some of my DBs. So if you looked, you saw the linebackers are pretty good. This Alvin Jefferson is probably the first A I've seen on the team, so he does have at least a 3-year deal. He has great awareness, great coverage, speed's good, tackling's great. So I'm probably going to have him. Even though he'd be a good corner, I think he'd be more useful, especially with just his awareness and coverage, kind of floating around, and the fact that he can tackle well. I'm probably going to put him at strong safety. That guy was pretty good, but he had really terrible speed. So does he. C speed. That's not great for corners. My kicker has, D power, so that's not good. We're going to want to replace him for sure. And Cole Ho, he has pretty bad power as well. His accuracies. So guys do get better in the off season, so those stats could go up, but definitely having a kicker with a weak leg is not going to be good. So I'm not going to be able to make a lot of moves based on our funds available, but I definitely want to upgrade kicker. So I think we're going to go do that right now. So we're going to go to free agency. So free agency works kind of interesting in the game. Like for the really good players in free agency, you're like when you click on them, you'll see that there's usually teams that want them. So you can't just like lowball everyone. A few games ago, I think maybe 2019 you could have, but in last year they kind of made it where if you lowball a lot of guys, either other teams will sign them or they'll just straight say no. And I think eventually they'll refuse to sign with you if you keep lowballing them. So I'm just kind of looking, and right now it doesn't seem like there's really anyone I want to. The team's not bad. So like I said, there's a combination of the team's not really that bad, and then there's a lot of money issues. Like you saw, there was an A player there, the offensive line. So just to give you kind of an idea of how much like he would cost. So he wants 6 years for $10 million. So that would really cut into my funds. He is 31, so it might be a good deal, but we have a lot of Bs on our offensive line, so it's not like a huge thing that we want to worry about. And we do have people we gotta re-sign next year. That's gonna be big. So depending on how much money we make per week, we gonna want to be careful. So we're looking at the kickers here. This guy has a decent kick power, so we're gonna go with him. I'm just gonna sign him to a 1-year deal. Because like I said, I don't want a kicker that has D plus power. So if you notice that I had a full roster, so they're going to go to practice squad immediately. That's something that happens. So if you sign a new player and you don't see him on your roster, that's probably why. So I'm going to go and get rid of the kicker I currently have, which is Marco. So Marco, because of this, Marco's going to end up still netting $60K. So not too bad for him. He still gets to go home at $60K. Hopefully he can find another landing spot in the league. So now we're going to go to our practice squad, and we're going to make sure we put the kicker on the actual team. So he's been sent to the active roster now. going to go to the depth chart, make sure he's actually in as the kicker. So you see Tyson Benson is going to be our starter. Alfred Panay, he does have a speed. So he's 25. So we're definitely going to play the whole season with him as our starter. And depending on how well he does and how he develops in the offseason, he'll be 26. So we'll probably have to make a decision on him. So that's who we're going to go with. Alberto Gria and Noah Dean is going to be our main receivers. They're both 21 and 22 respectively. So that's a pretty good start in terms of this franchise, having two young receivers like that. So they're definitely going to be important. And depending on who develops better, Noah Dean is clearly the faster one. But Alberto Greer has awareness, and awareness is pretty important in this game. So we're definitely it's going to be interesting. The more talented player is definitely Noah Dean, but we'll see how they both develop over time. And Noah Dean's a year older. He's 22, and Greer is 21. So that's going to be important to kind of see who ends up being the big guy there. Or maybe they'll have an equal effect on the team. But Noah Dean, to me, he seems like a guy that you can throw little short passes to, and he can take it deep, and every play he's a threat. Not so much with Greer. So Billy McKinney is going to get the start at tight end. So like I was saying earlier, you see they're all O-linemen, but on the left there in the slot, you can see it shows that's the top one is the left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. So it kind of has it the way I described earlier with your best players on the end. I got two C+ players playing guard, and then I have the B guy playing as the center. So we're going to play the 4-3 defense. So that's the left defensive end, left defensive tackle, right defensive tackle, and right defensive end respectively. So all these guys are kind of big. I kind of want to, in the future, get a defensive end that's smaller and maybe a bit faster. Because right now, all these guys, Tristan Franklin is the smallest guy we have, and he's 283 pounds. So, I mean, obviously there's defensive ends that are 283 pounds, but I'd rather them be not 300-pound D ends. So, just looking from our team perspective, linebacker and defensive back is probably our strongest aspect of the team, which is good because I do want to have a defensive team. So hopefully we can leverage that into, low scoring, and then we can kind of run the ball and grind games out. So for the format of this franchise, you guys can let me know if you disagree with this, but I do want to go with I'm going to simulate most games, but we're in pretty much the AFC South division, if you relate it to the NFL. And we're going to be going against, so I think there's Indianapolis, Jacksonville, the same teams in the NFL. I forget who I replaced. So those are going to be the division I'm going against. I think our first game is against Indianapolis, so I am going to be spectating the first game. And then I think I have to play Indianapolis again in game 4. So I'm going to be watching all the division games and simulating the rest. So that's the format I'm going to go with. Obviously, if rivalries develop or we make playoffs, I'm probably going to be spectating all of those games. But for now, that's the way I'm going to run the franchise. And then I'm not sure what we'll do for off seasons. But that's how we're going to do it for now. So I'm kind of just tweaking around with different things. I put Alvin Jefferson at strong safety, so he'd be more involved with the run. Blake Willis is going to play the free safety position. And there's not a lot of speed at DB I'm finding, so that's kind of worrisome. but at least my left corner is good. He has decent speed. And the nickelback has B speed. So, yeah, I'm going to change the left corner out for him because the left corner has D plus speed. So, sorry, he doesn't have decent speed. Yeah, so you see me make that change. And then Howell does have decent awareness, though. So, if he plays nickel, he'll be less of a liability. So, yeah, I'm going to make sure that Jake Little is the kicker and make those changes. Noah Dean is going to do the return duties for the team. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for this episode. Remember, this is footballin', and I want you guys to give it a like and subscribe. And I'm really excited for this franchise and to see where this goes. So thank you guys. Peace out.